On today's show, Fran and Carlo get OCR adjacent.
This is the world's toughest podcast. Welcome to the world's toughest podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's world's toughest mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the world's toughest podcast.
Welcome back to World's Toughest Podcast. My name is Will Hicks. Thank you for listening. I heard through the grapevine that some people still listen to old episodes, like years old, to get hyped up for World's Toughest. We're talking here in September. And, World's Toughest is like, 2 months away, month and a half away. And it's like when it's getting close. Once October hits for World's Toughest, like your fitness is kind of, you got what you got, right? Like you've been working all year. Their main job in October is don't get hurt. Just like keep training, but make it to the finish line, make it to the start line without getting injured. So September is your last big month of training. So like you need to be out there every day hitting it. What are your goals this year? 50 miles, 75, 100 miles? I would love to see someone get 125. It's probably not. I don't want to say it's not going to happen this year. I don't know. Maybe it is. I've said it before. It has to be the perfect course, the perfect weather, and the perfect competition. Like you need two guys pushing each other. Like the second place guy probably gets 120 miles, right? If there's not that second guy that's pushing the first place guy, then the first place guy is going to do whatever it takes to win, 110, 115. You're not going to go to 125. Your body's not going to let you go to 125 unless you absolutely have to go to 125. But that's for a handful of people. Us mere mortals, brown bib's pretty cool. Dirty brown bib, 55 miles. Let me know. Will at the OCR report. Let me know what's your goals this year. This is World's Toughest Podcast. We are excited about World's Toughest Mudder upcoming. Today on the show, we're talking with Fran and Carlo. Fran, you may remember as my co-host for the World's Toughest Mudder live stream. We host on the OCR Report YouTube channel, youtube.com/OCR Report. Fran and I host 24 hours of World's Toughest Mudder. It's like 26 hours. We start at 11 a.m. and then we go until the end of the race, which is an hour and a half after the 24 hours is up. You have an hour and a half to finish your last lap. And Carlo, you may remember from Pissing Cocks, a YouTube show he used to do with a buddy of his, Carlo Piscitello and Josh Cox. And now he's got a new show with Fran Chiorando. You can find it on the OCR Report podcast YouTube channel. Or breaking news, it is now on Spotify. So check that out. So when I was looking for it on Spotify, when you look for Fran and Carlo, I had a hard time finding it. But if you search OCR adjacent, it pops right up. Or there's a link on our Instagram page. Instagram at the OCR Report. So Fran and Carlo, two good friends. I'm very happy to talk with them about their new show. Fran actually gives us a sneak preview of the 2025 World's Toughest Mudder venue. World's Toughest Mudder 2025 will be in the UK for the first time. World's Toughest Mudder will be outside of the United States next year. So if you're in the US and you want to run World's Toughest Mudder, it's going to be a lot closer this year. I know, and then you might be like, oh man, it's 6 weeks away. 7 weeks away? What am I going to do? You know what? Maybe you're not ready. That's fine. No one's really ready their first time, other than like Ryan Atkins and Chris Rogloski, who both won it their very first year. Very few people are ready their first year. Show up and see what happens. Like, yeah, it's going to kick you in the teeth. It's going to kick you in the teeth no matter what you do, right? Like on a good day, it's a hard race. So if you're in the U.S., you should definitely come this year. Also, if you're in the U.S., you should come next year because, World's Toughest in the UK. Can't beat that. It'll be fun. We are in 30 days, 30 podcasts half September, 30 podcasts in 30 days. One podcast a day, every single day for the month of September. These are all podcasts from the OCR Report. Different shows. You can find everyone on the OCR Report Instagram page, or you can search for them. The OCR Report podcast, talking about the whole sport of obstacle course racing. Obstacle Running Adventures, Mike and Caitlin. They just hit their 400th episode a couple weeks ago. They talk about everything OCR, but especially focused on the Northeast of the United States. World's Toughest Podcast you're listening to right now. OCR Talk, Jason Dupree, our video producer extraordinaire, talks about the inside story on race live streaming. Fran and Carlo get OCR adjacent. Going to learn more about that in today's episode. Nitty Gritty Training with Faye Sinning and Jess O'Connell. Strength and Speed with Evan Perperis. And Travels with Jack Goris. Jack Goris is our photographer. He has a podcast too. For the full schedule, if you want to see like what's on what day, go to our Instagram page. Basically, Sundays are a new episode of the OCR Report. Mondays are a new episode of Obstacle Running Adventures. Tuesdays, new episode of World's Toughest Podcast. Wednesdays, new episode of OCR Talk. Fridays, new episode of Fran and Carlo at OCR Adjacent. Saturdays for the month of September are divided between Strength and Speed, Jack Goris, and Nitty Gritty Training. And then going back to Thursdays, half of the Thursdays are new episodes of the OCR Report, and half are new episodes of World's Toughest Podcast. So check it out. New podcast every single day. 30 podcasts, half September. Very excited to bring you all the audio content your ears can handle. Before we talk with Fran and Carlo, let's read some iTunes reviews.
5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Our first review comes from Garden Fresh 74. Garden Fresh writes, "Thank you for the inspiration. 5 stars. 5 stars for all the motivating and encouraging content. I'm in the middle of my journey right now to go from morbid obesity to a lean competitor. Looking forward to the next Tough Mudder, and listening to all these archived stories has been monumental in helping keep me motivated and providing inspiration. I'm a long ways from ever being able to do WTM, but I think I can get there. Thank you to everyone that's contributed to this podcast. Your stories mean so much to me." Thank you, Garden Fresh 74. I'm in the middle of my journey to go from morbid obesity to a lean competitor. I think it is amazing that you are finding motivation in one of the hardest races in the world. I think most people would say, hey, I want to run a 5K, or I want to get fit enough to maybe a marathon. That's a common goal also, right? World's Toughest Mudder is not a 5K. World's Toughest Mudder is not a... When I first ran World's Toughest Mudder, I thought to myself, oh, it's a really long, tough mudder. And it is. It's 24 hours long. It's a really long, tough mudder. But it's also a really hard, tough mudder. The obstacles are more difficult at World's Toughest than they are at a regular tough mudder. It's not just the time extension. It requires more training and more mental grit. I still remember my very first time running World's Toughest Mudder, Sean Corvell at the start line. He said, you don't finish at the finish line. You finish out there, and then you make it to the finish line. And that's what it's like. So, Garden Fresh, I applaud you and I commend you for taking on a big, big goal. And I wish you nothing but the best and nothing but success. Garden Fresh, let me know how you're doing. Will you be at World's Toughest this year? Maybe next year? Maybe in the UK. Who knows? Garden Fresh, thank you for the review. You can leave a review also, like Garden Fresh. Go to your iOS or iPad device and search for World's Toughest Podcast. Click our logo, scroll down, and click Write a Review. And I will read it on a future episode. Very excited to get your reviews again. Today in our show, Fran and Carlo. Before we talk to Fran and Carlo, follow us on Instagram at the OCR Report. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/the OCR Report. You can support the sport if you want to, like, hey, I love what we're doing, what you're doing here. I want to support it with financially. Go to patreon.com/the OCR Report. For as little as $5 a month, you can support the work we do, support the sport of obstacle course racing, race live streams, race photography, everything else we do. Provide for no charge, no cost to the community. We'd love your support. Love to have you as a member. Patreon.com/the OCR Report. And then last thing, sign up for our text program, text alerts for gear deals, race results, news. Go to our Instagram page, click the link in our bio, and sign up to get texts from the OCR Report. Very easy to subscribe, very easy to unsubscribe, no cost. And every like deal of the day, if you click on that link, then any purchases you make through that link will support the OCR Report as well. No charge to you. It's time to talk with Fran and Carlo. Let's go to the phones.
Recording in progress.
Francesca Chiorando and Carlo Piscitello are the hosts of Fran and Carlo Get OCR Adjacent. Fran and Carlo, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
Very excited to talk with you guys. I've worked with both of you for several years in different functions or different capacities. Thank you, Fran. But now you guys have your own podcast with the OCR Report. That's very exciting.
It is. It is exciting.
It wasn't much of a question, I guess. That's on me.
I'm really enjoying it.
Fran, how did your show come to be?
So anyone who's watched the coverage of World's Toughest Mudder between the hours of like 3:30 and 5:30 would have seen me and Carlo on the mic. As it's really the stupid hours and kind of seen the stupidity that exists. And Carlo it was Carlo's idea. He was like, should we try this? And I was like, heck yes, let's. And we were like, will it be any good? And we were like, hopefully not. That would be the fun bit. And we talked about it for quite a long time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did actually. And Will, you you might not know this. We actually have you to thank for our show coming to be, because it was 2022, I believe, when we were in Atmore, Alabama. If you hadn't taken a break, not go sleep in your car for 4 hours, but taken the break that you took, which allowed me to get on the microphone with Fran, we would not have ever discovered this like on-air chemistry that we have.
Chemistry.
Yes. And I could not wait. After doing it that year, I could not wait to do it the next year. I was like, you want me to go on at midnight? You want me to go on at 1? You want me to go on, like, can we do it? Can we do it? Because it was so, yeah. And then I was like, all right, we need to do something.
So I remember vividly Atmore, Alabama, because that was my first time live streaming for 24 hours. And I remember, and we started at like 11 a.m. And so it was like, I don't know, 1 a.m. to 1:30. And I could feel myself starting to like doze off. Like literally, like my head was like leaning forward at the table.
Yep.
And I was like, this is live and it's being recorded. And if I say something stupid or offensive, or it's there forever. Not that I ever would on purpose, but you get tired. And anyway. And so I was like, I gotta check out for a minute. And I don't know if you were just like right there or you were available. And I was like, hey, Carlo, got it? Or no, you know what? I think I just bailed, Fran.
Well, you were like, I'm going to take 20 minutes. And you were like, I'll take 20 minutes and then you can take 20 minutes. I was like, I'm good, guy. I'm fine. Because I was fine. And you went. And then I was on my own just chatting absolute rubbish. And then kind of quite a while passed, I think. And Carlo was like, hey. And I was like, hey. And then you came back. You're like, whoa, that was a good nap. And I was like, yeah, cool. This has been really good fun. So
that was by the way, it was a long nap. Like you came back at like 5 or 6 a.m.
And
no, the sun wasn't up yet.
Well, no, I saw you guys were having a good time, and I felt kind of bad about kicking you off the mic. But like at the time, we needed you. Probably getting close to the finish line, maybe. Anyway, it's just part of the deal. It worked out good because then
it worked out.
Worked out really good, yeah.
And then the next year, I felt last year, I felt fine, but I was like, they had a thing, and
This
I was like, get out, go, get out.
I'll take take my dry robe and make myself scarce for a couple of minutes.
Well, it wasn't horrifically cold last year either. It was much colder the year before. So, yeah.
It wasn't cold at all last year. I barely wore a dry robe. The year before was freezing. And I've told this story so many times, but we had a plan for how we were going to live stream it. And it was, do like the intro and then come back at the top of every hour for a 15-minute recap, which I will say, I think I would find a lot harder than just going constantly.
Yep.
And we started and I was wearing shorts because it was Alabama and it was hot. And then it was 6 hours later and you were like, hey, Fran, should we take a break? And I was like,
I'm going to pass out if I take a break.
And I never really got warm from that point.
That's what they say. You got to put your wetsuit on before you get cold.
Exactly. I did not do that.
Right.
That was my first lesson of temperature control.
It's a little inside baseball, but yeah, we were not planning to live stream for 24 hours straight. When we turned the cameras on, we were going to talk like the first hour. Do you know this, Carlo?
I do not know.
Hour, and we were going to like send everyone off at noon. And then we were going to talk, I think we were going to talk like the first 30 minutes. But then after that, it was pretty much like, hey, we'll be back top of the hour, every hour with updates. But we just kind of kept talking.
I think that would have been way, way harder because what we would have had to do is like at least 20 minutes before the top of the hour, we'd have to collect everything that had happened in the last 40 minutes, watch it. It's way easier just to keep going. And then I just don't know how I would keep the attention and without getting tired with those big gaps. So I'm much happier we did it the way we did it.
I really like the way we have it set up now where we talk obviously, but then we bring in like Giles Shader, we bring in race directors, we bring in pit crew for the beginning. And then after a while, when elites start dropping out, we bring in elites and we're doing, and then like Amelia Boone is randomly there, or Javier Escobar was working pit crew last year.
Tyler Veerman came and sat in.
He did. He ate some pizza.
That's fun.
That's the other thing too. When you have a lot of fun, like people in your tent and snacks, like people gravitate to that tent.
So I don't know if it's my job, but I brought a bunch of food for our broadcast team, right? And the power of habit is such that when I go to a grocery store right before World's Toughest Mudder, I shop like I'm going to run World's Toughest Mudder. So I'm like, yeah, we'll need some Oreos. Yeah, we'll need some Doritos. Yeah, we'll need... And really, you don't need all those calories to broadcast World's Toughest Mudder. You need those calories to run World's Toughest Mudder, but you don't really need them to broad. So we had like a snack bar for children.
It was incredible. And I think the amount of snacks you had indicated how much we thought we'd be off air because it's quite hard to eat when you're on camera. Like I've got my snacks down to I like the Bougie Trail Mix. And last year I brought cold Chipotle. And what else is one other thing that I like to have? Well, tea, obviously. But like the first year I got this like thumbs up, like a microwavable pot of goulash. It was amazing. But it's like, those are my snacks now. And I quietly crunch them like.
And I ate all the random chocolates and candy that Fran brought from the UK for me to try. It was literally like a live on-air taste test.
But it was even better actually because we went to the store when I landed. Like you and Jason picked me up from the airport, and we went straight to do like the shop. And Jason is very sensible and planned. And he got, he was like, well, no, we don't need that. We don't need that. And we'll just get this. And I got super excited about oat milk. And like, we got a reasonable, good, sensible amount of food. And we're like, good, this is good. This will keep us all going. And the next day, Will turns up and he's like, hey.
Yeah, you don't need Uncrustables to broadcast a race. But I was like, it's World's Toughest Mudder. You got to have Uncrustables.
But they're good.
Enjoy them. Life is for the enjoying.
How excited are you Fran, about World's Toughest 2025 in the UK?
I'm kind of torn. Do you know why?
You like coming to the United States?
I like coming to the United States a lot. I really, really do love having a reason to visit the States. So after this trip, I'll be staying like an extra week and we'll be going up to Georgia and spending some time there. And maybe we'll go to Disney or something. Like I love having that reason to visit the States.
Carlo, how excited are you going to the UK?
But no, I am excited for everyone to come to the UK. So my non-excitement is pure selfishness, but I think it will be really cool for it to be here. I know I sound obsessive about our hours of light and dark in the UK, but it's going to blow your mind, like how much light we have overnight. We have a very, very short night. So in June, at the end of June, 28th, 29th, I think it is, we're going to have like 6 hours of dark. It's going to be crazy. So I'm super excited. I'm excited to have you guys all here and to show you everything. But But yeah,
Like
I just needed an excuse to go to the States.
11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Like what's dark over there that time of year?
I think at that time of year, you'll still have a little bit of light at 11, definitely half 10, and the sun will come up around 4:30.
Holy smokes, that'll be
Where I live, but I'm only 2 hours north of it, so.
Carlo, that could actually affect mileage because people get really depressed during that like 2-3 a.m.
Yeah.
If that dark night of the soul hourage is if there's just a few of those hours, that might bump miles up 1 or 2 laps for some.
Yeah, although
6
the
a.m. is tough when it's dark.
couple of the big hills on the course will knock them right back down.
Are there
That's
big
true.
hills?
That's-
I'm not sure.
There's one. You just told me there's one big hill. At
in
least one.
Yorkshire. This is in a different location to Europe stuff is mudder.
Never mind.
The boy doesn't listen to me.
See, and that's why the show works.
I know.
Is it good? We don't know, but we have a lot of
No.
fun doing it. That was literally
Yeah.
kind of the premise. Like the first couple, we were like, we actually have about an episode and a half that we shot that never aired. One was just because it was technically not sound, and the other one was just kind of no. We were getting the kinks worked out. But I really look forward to doing it every week now, and I think that we've actually gotten better, and you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work, and ideas you had at the beginning that you're kind of like, let's not do that, or you just end up just not doing certain bits or something.
So we record it on, because we live on other sides of the world, and you work nights and I have a child. Finding the time to record it is really tricky. So we do it around 10 p.m. UK time. So you've kind of got up after your night shift. It's pre-going to bed for me. But we do it on a Tuesday, which incidentally is like my super, 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 super busy day. I do a lot of driving and I always find that from my side, depending on how tired I am, it gets a little bit more unhinged, but better.
Yeah.
If it's a really tired day, it's like, this is going to be more entertaining for me.
The show is Fran and Carlo Get OCR Adjacent. I have seen it on the OCR Report YouTube channel, but we're working on getting it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for audio listeners.
I'm excited about that because, that was feedback I received when I was at Toughest Chicago. There's just some people who just don't do a lot of stuff on YouTube, and they're like, hey, I'd like to listen, but I'd like to also set up an RSS feed and just like be notified when there's a new episode. And I was like, we're working on it. Don't worry, it's coming. So
I'm the same. I don't watch stuff on YouTube. I want to just hear it.
Although I will say this, I learned last night, I actually like watching like visually watch like podcasts that are on YouTube. Like I was trying to listen last night to it's called, what is it? Hawk and Wolf. It's Tony Hawk and I can't think of the other guy's name. He's an Australian skateboarder guy. But they have a YouTube / podcast right now, and they have a bunch of great guests on because they're famous, so they can get whoever they want. And I was trying to listen to it, but also do some work. And I realized if I wasn't focusing on the screen, then I wasn't really listening to the podcast. So I needed to be watching it. And they're interesting people. So, they had, you didn't ask. They had one of the Beastie Boys on, one of the live ones.
See, but that's what I use podcasts for. I've spoken about this in the show. I listen to one podcast. One podcast is the only podcast I've been able to find that I can bear.
I learned this yesterday.
Which is Dateline, because I love the guy's voice. And to be honest, Will, if you kind of like just read stories out, I'd listen to that. But what I need when I'm working is like I need a good voice that's constant without like basically the exact opposite of what me and Carlo do.
Yeah.
So that I can it's almost like it flicks a switch into work mode and cuts everything else out. But I don't tend to often listen that much. So if you just kind of like read stuff, that could be a market.
She really likes your voice, by the way.
She started her day and made lunch for her child. She had no idea what would unfold later.
Perfect. Oh my God.
Yeah. She's always complimentary of your voice.
I am.
No, that's very kind, but I feel weird about that because I did nothing it's not like I do like warm-ups or exercises, or it's not like I've been like working out my voice.
Yeah, you're blessed. It's fine. That happens.
Here's a great idea. You're going to record like a few minutes of audio for Fran that you're going to send to her, but unbeknownst to her, about halfway through, just splice in Jack calling her Shamu in his Jack voice. And not me calling her Shamu, but Jack does that. And just the episode of Friends when Chandler had that mixtape that he gave to what's her name, and it had Oh, who was the annoying girlfriend voice?
Lost me.
Janice.
Was it?
Janice.
Janice.
Yes, had Janice's voice. He didn't know.
Janice.
Good pull, by the way. I didn't even watch that much Friends, but I remember that episode. Anyway,
See,
welcome
I
to the
genuinely think,
adjacent
though,
part of Fran and Carlo talk over
if
each other.
Will just kind of found like out of Wright's books and just read them and put them up as podcasts, you probably get quite a lot of audience because we just want good voices.
I need public access books.
Yeah, it's fine. Loads of them are. Jane Eyre.
Due to sponsors' global liquidity issues, they were holding out for above market rents and also filled up the buildings with affiliate leases, which were
I
then
would get so
units
much
on a
work done.
short-term basis.
I would get so much work done.
Fran's just feeling productive.
I'm ready.
Do you ever have those? This is off topic. This is OCR adjacent. Do you ever have those moments, or maybe like an hour, where like you're just so focused you can literally get anything done? Like you ever see the movie Limitless with Bradley? What's his name?
Good. It's very
Bradley Cooper.
good.
And you can just like.
Yeah.
So here is. I literally think this is a secret to. I don't like life hacks. I think they're lazy generally. But here if you want a life hack, here's what you do. You just do something consistently. Just like boring, every single day, I'm going to do this. And then once in a while, just do that every single day. The boring part, every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But every once in a while, once a week, once every 10 days, you'll hit that 1 hour of intense focus where everything's just lined up and like mentally all lights are green and you're like, bam, bam, and you'll make massive progress on whatever you're working on. Like if you want to write a book, like just like write like a paragraph a day, boring. And then once a week, like boom, I just wrote 2 chapters. Look at me. Anyway,
I love the concept for certain types of brains.
I only have my type. That's all I can speak to.
We spoke about this yesterday in
Yes.
workouts.
Yeah, it would go. Our friend Melissa Linden. All you have to do is these certain reps every day. It probably takes you like 6
Been
minutes,
thinking
and we're
about
like,
it for 3
ooh.
years.
yes. I saw it today's and went, ooh, that looks fun, and then I haven't done anything about it.
I'll probably
I
edit
thought
this
about it
out.
today whilst I was at the gym. Didn't do it.
See,
I'll probably edit this out because I don't like talking about it in public. But I've been doing 100 push-ups a day for
unbroken
4 sets of 25.
throughout the day. Oh, nice.
I just do them all like at night, usually at night.
Okay.
Or if I'm like on a run, I'll stop every like mile and a half or mile and do it.
Ooh, you're the weird guy. Everyone's like, beep beep. Did he just have a stroke?
I just go off to the side. I don't like people watching. Like 107 days now. And like all my t-shirts fit better.
Yeah.
I'm still eating garbage. Like weight's exactly
Really?
the same, but like you look in the mirror and you're like, all right.
What's your Duolingo streak?
You want to know?
Yeah, I gave up Duolingo like 2 months ago. So I don't
I
care.
gave up Duolingo because I wasn't learning anything.
I haven't done it
Yeah,
yet
me too.
today. Yeah, I'll see how I should do. 1206.
1,200 days.
So
Almost.
it's Will Consistency Hicks.
Yeah.
No, it's not though. Like, I mean, yeah, I think that's the secret.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Actually, that's the
Secret.
definition of
That's-
consistency.
But like, I've tried with other. It's hard to like. I don't know. It doesn't always translate to like every part of your life, right? Like I've tried other. When we like really launched the OCR report social stuff seriously, like 3 years ago in the summer, we were like crushing it consistent with, and then really that's what like with race results and with photos of the day and like
Yeah.
we were doing it every single day. Like it's, and then maybe that's algorithms like recognizing it and stuff too. But that's, I do think it's consistency is more important than like whatever. Ryan Atkins will tell you this. He's like, yeah, just do something every single day. And then once a week, do something like really, really hard.
So
And-
I have a totally different theory, which is do something every now and again and hope for the best. Which is probably why I haven't won anything or particularly succeeded in life.
Yeah. I will say though, Will, kind of to your thing, I will now again, I don't do it every single day because whatever, but being at work for 12 hours like I am and without a lot of people around, I will often set an alarm on my phone for every hour and then I'll do like 15 push-ups and like 25 air squats.
Yeah.
And then I'll reset the alarm and then
Now I know there are more efficient workouts. Like, and I know maybe you should take a rest day or something. I know that 100%. But it's like, for instance, like we were talking about with, it's easier to just keep going than it is to like do 15 minutes.
100%.
Like it's simple. Like
It's like when people calorie count, like days like Christmas Day are not a joy, they are terrible because that second you break it,
Mm-hmm.
starting again is a million times harder.
Yeah, and we don't need to make ourselves feel guilty.
No.
We suffer more in our imaginations than we ever do in reality. Like,
I've stopped feeling guilty about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things you should feel guilty about, like stealing, murder,
I don't do
reclining your
those.
airplane seats.
Yeah, if you do those things, I guess.
I don't recline an airplane seat ever.
That is
Ever.
a sin. I will tell people that
It
is
is the biggest sin. Should I tell
I
you
was on a
three-
flight to Chicago
three
recently.
Giant flight sins, according to Fran.
Okay.
Reclining a seat,
Tying your seat.
taking your shoes off.
you lost.
Oh.
You lost me. My feet swell up. I'm an
Okay,
old
you
man.
can-
I'm an old man.
Get him,
Okay,
Fran.
it's not
Get him.
fun.
I have been in a plane. I have been in a tiny plane flying across Africa where a guy had bare feet tucked up on the seat.
Okay. There is a difference between my clean socks and clean feet underneath the seat
That is
And-
totally different.
your barefoot friend with his feet next to your arm elbow. That's two
Right.
different things.
And not many people will go with me on this one, but it's a huge problem for me wearing strong perfumes or aftershaves when you travel. Because they make me really sick and they make a lot of people really sick.
Oh.
And it's
Yeah.
very intrusive and rude. And using your phone without headphones.
Oh man.
Oh, that's just rude.
Basically anything that impacts other people's travel negatively.
People are
It's
watching
really
YouTube with no headphones. I'm like,
Although
Well,
I have been on a plane with someone with their headphones in, watching on their phone, literally didn't realize that it wasn't
connected.
At least they were
going through.
trying. No,
And people around them, we kind of let it go for a few minutes. And then at one point they kind of looked up and noticed everyone was kind of looking at them and they were like, oh my gosh, oh, I'm so sorry. And then it was a very funny moment, but it's like, so if it's on accident, I get it.
If it's on
I would
purpose,
be really embarrassed because my music would be like Britney Spears or something.
Yeah.
So
if it's on purpose, you can just kind of like lean in there and like watch and like kind of put your shoulder next to their shoulder and like lean over their shoulder so they know you're watching with them.
Yeah.
Have a problem. Be like, well, I thought this was public. What? Like, are we all
Like the
watching?
person that holds their phone like this on speaker when they're in public and talks. Yeah. So anyway, I blah, blah, blah. And their friend's like, you're like, oh, nice to know. Good to know. Okay. Hope that
Sometimes-
heals up.
Sometimes I do that when I'm in my car because I don't want to like hold it to my head like a dummy. And then you
okay,
can just
because
kind
you're in
of
your own personal space.
yeah, but I think it's technically illegal.
That is 100% illegal.
Oh yeah,
Will.
illegal. Yeah.
Technically,
Well, I've ridden in your car. You have Bluetooth capability.
I know, but like if I don't plug it in, then
You have to plug it in for Bluetooth now.
well, I don't have it connected because otherwise, every time you like walk near the car, then it picks up. I don't like that either.
There we go.
Do you see how quickly we get adjacent?
Yeah.
We're not even
like,
close
I
to
don't even remember.
OCR. I was going to ask you what does OCR adjacent means, but I guess this is the show not tell situation.
Doesn't take long.
Does
It
not
doesn't take long.
We'll be like in the middle of race results and go off on a story about something to do with someone's name.
It'll be a race in Croatia, and friend like, oh, one time I was on this TV show in Croatia, and I assume you say Croatia.
Croatia.
Okay. You guys put
Croatia.
R's on the end of things sometimes.
I heard you guys have weather reports on your show.
Sometimes. Sometimes. Although I found that, yes, so Jack Goris sends me. Well, what's great is I've told, so we do the Jack Goris 30-second worldwide weather report
Mhm.
almost every episode.
Almost.
And
And he
what's
gets
great is
introduced every episode.
he knows it's 30 seconds and he'll send me like 45-second clips. And I'm like, Jack, I'm only using 30 seconds. So he gets cut off.
As if YouTube charges you extra for like the
Doesn't matter.
It's not that YouTube charges extra. One, Jack needs to learn boundaries and rules. And two, more
Yes.
than 30 seconds is just too much.
This is a teachable moment, Will. This is a teachable moment.
We're all parents here.
And we're trying to teach the most unmalleable person in the world some boundaries.
So has Jack learned his boundaries?
No.
No.
Last night, I
He
edited
gets
last
worse.
night, 30,
He's
37
a very,
seconds.
very rebellious child.
He is. And what I've learned is every once, like one week, I just literally forgot to put him in. And then like last week, I loved last week's episode, by the way, the post toughest Chicago episode,
Mm.
episode 13, I believe, one of my personal faves.
Routine.
But I didn't forget to put him in, but I just had so much stuff and it just didn't really fit anywhere. So I just left it out, assuming,
Did we
He
not
wouldn't-
introduce it? Did we forget to introduce him?
yeah, we didn't even do that.
Ooh.
We just glazed right over it. So two people always notice when I leave Jack out. One, of course, is Jack, and the other, for some reason, is Melissa Linden. And she will go right to the comments. Where's Jack? And I'm like,
do
and I don't know
all
if
that
you've met
work.
Melissa Linden in person, but I don't want her mad at me.
I don't want him out of me.
She could like bench press me and then tear me in half. I'm just saying.
I think she could probably tear you in half faster with her brain.
She's wicked smart too.
She's wicked smart.
Did Jack get an extra 30 seconds the next episode?
No.
Well, it's not called the double 30-second worldwide weather report or the 60-second.
I think Melissa Linden would agree with me that you owe Jack 30 seconds.
Maybe Jack can have a whole episode of his own.
Yeah, totally.
You guys do the weather that week?
I'll tell you what, it'll
Maybe
be 30
for
seconds.
April Fools.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we got a long way to go till April, though, girl. Hold on.
Well, you say that.
That's true. It is September.
30 podcasts. Half September.
So we're talking, I'm not sure what day this is going to air yet, but we are part of 30 podcasts in 30 days. 30 podcasts, half September. Have you guys been listening to the other shows?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
I was listening to Jason Dupree this morning, and
Jason Dupree.
What?
You don't watch our show. You don't know the bit, dude. Gosh.
Anyway, he's recording himself as he's driving on a mountain. And like 3 times in the first 10 minutes, I was like, is he about to die? Because he's like, oh, I need to adjust this so you guys can see it behind me. Oh, I'm driving. And I'm like, what is going on? Obviously, he uploaded the episode after. So like, spoiler alert.
I mean, spoiler. Yeah, he didn't because he'd spoken.
But I was nervous. It was a couple of times I was kind of nervous for our guy, Jason.
Where is he? Where isn't he in Texas? Do they have mountains in Texas?
He was at a race in Canada.
Kelowna.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, speaking of the OCR part of OCR adjacent, Fran, do you want to give everybody a sneak preview of the 2025 venue for World's Toughest Mudder?
Sure. So the 2025 venue for World's Toughest Mudder is going to be in a place called Beaver Castle.
Beaver Castle.
Beaver Castle.
How do you spell Beaver Castle?
Well, this is what's interesting because it's not spelled like how you'd think. It is spelled Belvoir. So you'd think it's Belvoir.
That's how I would say it.
Belvoir. It's Beaver. It's Beaver Castle. So in terms of location for a race, it's pretty darn excellent in terms of logistics. I'll tell you why. Because there are 3 major cities in the UK that you could travel to. London, Birmingham, Manchester. For World's Toughest Mudder, I am flying direct from Manchester to Orlando, 9 hours, not a lot of money. I know someone was saying the flights are really expensive. I can assure you we do that route often. Not a lot of money. And it is literally 2 hours-ish from each of those locations. So it's a super handy location. And also if you go from London, you've got public transport because we do that really well here.
You do.
We do.
So any of those 3 airports would work. Like it literally, whichever one's cheapest. If you live in Chicago, you live in Dallas, you live in LA, whichever one is cheaper to one of those 3 is about the same. Like
yes. And the only thing I would say from our recent traveling is not whichever one is cheapest, because Dustin recently flew on Norse Airlines and it was terrible and it was cheap, but it wasn't cheap and it was awful. So don't fly on that for World's Toughest Mudder. Fly Aer Lingus, fly British Airways, fly American, fly Virgin, or any other airline you like. But those are the best.
You say North Airlines?
It's funny, this episode is sponsored by North Airlines. For all your UK travel need, North Airlines.
Meals and
UK.
Meals not included on a transatlantic flight.
I don't like it when they charge you for like, oh, this much for a carry-on bag and this much for that, and like they kind of nickel and dime. I don't like that at all.
No, they nickeled and dimed it to be more expensive than another.
That's like every value airlines that exist, though, like your Value Jet or your Spirit.
Not transatlantic. Don't
Frontier.
start doing that.
No, I couldn't. I like the free booze on transatlantic flights. I have a glass of wine and relax. And
free booze? I don't drink.
Not on North Airlines. North Airlines for sober flyers.
That's right. They give you grape juice.
For those who like to be unhappy.
.co.uk.
So it is a really cool
discount
location.
Code OCR Report 10.
It's a good location. They've had a lot of they have had Europe's Toughest Mudders there when they were the shorter ones. And they've been having Spartans and Tough Mudders there for a while. So they know the lay of the land. They know what to do. It's really cool. There's a super cool, huge castle. It's not super hilly or anything like that, but it'll be a totally different race. It'll probably be quite wet because that's what the UK likes to do because there are no alligators or snakes or anything that can kill you. And there's gonna like little towns nearby that would be so much fun for the pub crawl.
The pub crawl, that's probably one of my favorite aspects of it, is that like a legit English pub crawl is like, come on.
So the kind of joke with traditionally with the pub crawl at World's Toughest Mudder is that the pub crawl is in one bar.
Yeah, there's no crawling.
The crawling is like, because you're so sore from the race, you're crawling around the bar, but you're not like actually going from bar to bar. It's at one spot.
Yeah.
But in the UK, it might be different. I don't know.
It could be really good fun. And the UK Tough Mudder scene is really good. So there'll be a lot of characters there that haven't made it out to races before. So that'll be really fun. And
you said elevation is minimal. Elevation change?
Yeah, pretty much. I was there a couple of weeks ago and did a big walk of the course. There's some, not of the World's Tough Mudder course, of the Tough Mudder course that was happening there. And there's like a few slight inclines, but there's nothing major.
Beaver Castle was the first venue for Toughest Mudder in the UK. And it was for like several years. I think it actually went away. I want to say right before COVID, it changed spots, but it was there. Like it was always Mother's Day weekend. So it was a tough ask.
What, English Mother's Day weekend?
Are they the same?
No.
I doubt it. Yeah.
English Mother's Day weekend is the halfway point between Ash Wednesday and Easter Sunday. Midway through Lent.
No, ours is in May somewhere.
Ours is always in May. So yours
changes every year depending on Easter.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because Easter changes.
Easter's the only, here's some trivia. Speaking of Jason, Easter is the only holiday based on the moon. All the others are based on the sun.
Christian holiday based on the moon?
Well, I don't know if you're like sacrificing children.
Oh, here we go.
But
he was not ready. He was not ready. She's worldly.
I'm pretty sure, like...
Are we going to talk signs? Ask me my sign.
Oh, Cancer.
No. I'm a unicorn.
Wow, he mocks your science, Fran. He mocks your science to your face.
This is where you say that one's not real.
If you believe it's real, it's real.
None of them are real.
If you believe it's real, it's real.
I forget how much Will has these horrible jokes.
You say that, but I'm a Scorpio, and you know that matches.
That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what it matches. Oh, classic.
You're going to go home and Google it and you'll be like, damn, that girl.
No, I am not. I'm going to forget about signs literally
Carlo,
before I hit the end call button.
But anyway, I'm pretty sure that's the only Christian holiday that's based around the moon because you've also got the Lunar New Year for Chinese. And I'm sure Eid is based around the moon as well.
Okay.
This is why people don't like me.
That's not it. This is just the adjacent. This is the part where if we were doing our show,
it's the rest of your personality.
I'd be checking out too if this was our episode. I'd be like, okay.
I find this really fun.
This is where I'm like, oh, I have editing.
Toughest lunar holidays.
I'm actually going to Google it.
I didn't know about. I mean, Lunar New Year. Yeah, they call it Lunar. We traditionally would call it Chinese New Year, but they in the last few years began calling it the Lunar New Year.
But to be less rude, they call it Lunar New Year because they've changed the name.
Not to be abrupt, don't you have a hard stop that we passed?
You know what? I do. We should probably start wrapping up. Here.
It was your hard stop, so I just want to make sure we're not messing with your gig.
No, you're very kind. I have to jet off to pick up my daughter from school.
Importante.
So
Fran is still looking up lunar holidays.
You're looking up signs or lunar holidays. If it's signs,
Eid al-Fitr is the festival of the breaking the fast. It takes place on the day after the new moon is seen at the end of the month of Ramadan. But when is Ramadan? Ramadan changes every month.
I used to have a fun trivia question, like the only Disney princess that her movie wasn't in the title. Her name wasn't in the title of her movie.
Elsa?
And the answer, no, well, Elsa ruined it. The answer was Jasmine. Because all the other ones are like Sleeping Beauty.
But it was more about Aladdin than Jasmine, wasn't it?
She's a Disney princess.
She is. Do you know who the first Disney princess was?
Snow White.
In 1937.
Yeah. Every father of daughters knows that.
The Hyperion
Evelyn
Theater.
told me that she was like 4, and I was like, dude, that's impressive.
All right.
So we talked
Fran and Carlo, how can people follow you on social media?
Well, Carlo posts things weekly, and I do pretty much nothing. And he will always tag myself and tag himself and tag the OCR report. So if you go to each of our individual profiles or the OCR report on Instagram, you'll find it. You'll also find it. We don't have an episode we don't have a page for the episodes. So just follow the OCR report. Boom. Or in the world's toughest community.
Yeah, there is a playlist. The OCR Report podcast YouTube page, we do have a playlist there where you can find all of our episodes. And me personally, there's also at Carlo with no S on Instagram if you want to see pictures of my dog, pretty much.
I have a private profile. Don't follow me.
And some dope memes.
Some memes about drugs?
No, like that's hip language. Dope memes.
Fran,
I don't know any of that though.
Fran, any last thoughts before we go?
We don't have time.
Carlo, any last thoughts before we go?
I'm just feeling good, man. I'm excited to get to Worlds and meet you all again.
Fran and Carlo are the hosts of OCR Adjacent. Fran and Carlo get OCR Adjacent.
14 episodes and counting.
And if you hated this, it's not for you.
Nope.
Fran and Carlo, thanks much.
Thanks, bud.
Bye.
Special thanks to Fran and Carlo for appearing in this episode. You can find their show on the OCR Report YouTube channel or on Spotify. Search for OCR Adjacent. Go to youtube.com/the OCR Report. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And I'm just excited. World's Toughest is coming. We've got new episodes coming out. Tomorrow is a new episode of OCR Talk. Check it out, Jason Dupree. If you haven't heard it yet, listen to yesterday's new episode of Outscoring Adventures, and then new episodes all week long, all month long. I will talk with you soon. Go spend time with someone you love. You guys are awesome. Well done.
We know.
Thank you.
We're aware.
Will's just like, why? Why do I deal with you people? My children.